But what I didn't do is I didn't go back to any of these women and apologize.
Oh, look at the Japanese food. We're trying.
Who wants to be black? I don't understand that.
We don't fucking care. Sorry.
Calling Kim's party out of touch and insensitive given the literal life and death struggles.
This year, I've decided to throw him a crazy surprise party.
How's it going? Absolutely not. Mr. James. Hi.
I've always said that David Dobrik's like not a good person. He's just
Oh, you're going all the way.
nigga.
Gracie, take care of this pussy ass nigga.
That I'm racist. Not like Chief Tuckle Supreme. You're not racist.
I said and did things that were really offensive.
Okay, let's talk about your favorite influencers. Since the dawn of time, there's been a little known fact about influencers that people love to ignore, and that is, they're all trash. No, wait, hold up. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that. I should clarify that influencers themselves aren't trash. It's just the hot dumpster fire, egomaniacal, careless, and sometimes dangerous things they do with their influence. That's garbage. Now, we can argue about semantics about what constitutes an influencer, what constitutes a big influencer, if that matters, what behavior is actually trash, and what behavior is merely harmless entertainment, and how I'm just using words for dramatic effect and everyone else should lighten up. But instead, let's just be petty. Instead, let's dive headfirst and balls deep in search of the answer to the age-old question.
Do you know how to do your own laundry?
No.
Yeah, sure. Influencers are sometimes the worst. But why?
What's your talent?
It is a talent to have a brand that's really successful off of getting people to like you.
Yeah, there we go. I made a mistake.
I'm black. I would be saying the N-word. I would be.
For those of you guys who found the vlog to be offensive, I'm sorry you did. For those of you who didn't find it to be offensive, I'm sorry they did.
Hello, hi guys, hello, hi. I drank mom's coffee again and mom's coffee is very, 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 very strong and I feel like I can conquer the world and catch all the squirrels.
Oh, hi there. Hello, hi. I'm back and I'm blue. I'm blue, da-da-dee. Let me just really quick address the elephant in the room, and that is, where the heck have I been? Well, first of all, my beautiful, sweet, wonderful, amazing, love of my life, Kitty, Michael Douglas, aka Ailey, passed away at the end of January. I'm not gonna get emotional. She passed away in my arms. She was comfortable. It was very peaceful, and she had an incredible, beautiful, endlessly loved life, and I am just so grateful that she was mine. I've been grieving over that, and kind of simultaneously in January, I injured another part of my spine. Now, this is on top of some spinal trauma and previous injuries that I have been dealing with for several years. On top of that, the fibromyalgia, which just makes everything like so fun. I had 4 new MRIs taken, and there were some new medical things that I am working with several doctors in regards to. So long story short, I was not able to walk for a while, or stand or sit or do anything, and so I've been in a lot of physical therapy. That was kind of that. I'm happy to say I am finally able to dress myself on my own, which was a huge accomplishment. You know, it's the progress that counts. So anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I was absolutely terrified. I'm like, this is more time than I've ever taken away from the channel, so I'm just so thankful that you guys are here. I do have some good news in that my film Unspoken and Worthy both made it into the Venice Shorts Film Festival, which is like incredible, and Unspoken has been nominated in the category of Best Director. So I'm gonna break influencers down into 3 categories: the celebrity influencer, the influencer, and the accidental influencer, because I'm curious to analyze the response that their actions receive and if it changes based on what type of influencer they are. But real quick, before we go any further, your girl got a sponsor, y'all! This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN, a service that, yes, I actually use. services, and yes, is literally game-changing for my Netflix, YouTube binging, because I now have access to way more movies and shows than like ever before. Basically, when you do anything online, like a Google search or stream a movie, email, like all of your activity is tracked through your device's IP address, right? Like, which is attached to the country that you're in. So streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, YouTube, they all have restrictions on what shows you're able to watch based on like what country you live in. But when I turn on my ExpressVPN, it takes my address and like changes it to another country, so I can unlock tons more movies and shows. So boom, basically if you've run out of good shows to binge like during the pandemic, now you can unlock literally the entire internet. Like, I can't watch Modern Family or Rick and Morty in the US, so all I do is select Canada as my country, and instantly I have access to Canadian Netflix and can watch Modern Family and tons more shows. It's literally like a massive expansion to all of your streaming platforms, because I got that ExpressVPN, good. So to find out how you can get 3 months free, that's 3 months of watching literally like a million new movies and shows for free, find out by clicking the link in the description box below at expressvpn.com/swoop. Boom, check it out, sign up, enjoy. Okay, so let's start things off with the celebrity influencers.
Is this lens we're holding up, and was that lens available? We were all looking through it in 2018.
These are the people who gain celebrity through like the traditional talent means, like movie stars and musicians and the Kardashians. Okay, great, let's continue. Let's start with a moment that probably most of you are familiar with that happened end of last year regarding Kim Kardashian, an island, and a totally down-to-earth flex on people dying in a pandemic.
The beauty mogul turned 40 on October 21st and celebrated with a private island getaway.
Many
still didn't take kindly to what they perceived as a tone-deaf humble brag, calling Kim's party out of touch and insensitive given the literal life and death struggles many are facing during the pandemic.
Honestly, I feel like in order to properly analyze this, we're gonna have to take it to Petty University. That's right, folks, Petty University, with featured courses like Mastering the Art of Basic Bitchery, I Said What I Said, Deal With It, and oh my gosh, cancel culture, ew. You'll learn the sacred art of judging people's actions while remaining unbothered, and walk away with a diploma that makes you certified that bitch. I'm stupid, I know. But like low-key, and you didn't hear from me, there is official Petty University merch coming very soon. That's right, kids. I feel like what she said needs like a dramatic reading. We danced, rode bikes, swam near whales, kayaked, watched a movie on the beach, and so much more. If your idea of normal is kayaking, swimming with whales, and watching movies on the beach, then honestly, bitch, give me your life, okay? I would like to swim with the whales. I will take a dolphin. Shit, I will even take a goldfish at this point. Honestly, I could break down how absurdly out of touch it was to be posting about how they just needed a break from the pandemic and like paid for an entire private island to take time to breathe, because same, so relatable. But the thing that I get like stuck on, especially when people continually defend the insensitive and sometimes offensive things that the Kardashians and Jenners do, like COVID parties, because there have been several with them, and perpetual appropriation of black culture for profit. Did I just say that? Not only are you utilizing resources that were not necessary to use, that people who are like in the medical profession need those resources, like rapid testing, but it is also a really weird thing to be posting on social media. It's an alarming flex, but of course, I don't know if we should expect anything different. What am I missing here? It's like, let me constantly remind you that I am far above you and anyone you know, and like, is that toxic? Is that a problem? I think to an extent, yes, but you know, that's how this works, isn't it? And people seem to love it. And now for a segment I like to refer to as yet another racist moment in country music history.
Yeah, another racist moment in country music history.
So Morgan Wallen is a country music star who I like to affectionately refer to as the grown-ass man who parties maskless and kisses random girls during a pandemic, gets arrested for disorderly conduct, and wait, ah yes, shouts the N-word at people from the window of his mansion in Tennessee.
Racism.
Cheeky. Like literally, let's just take a look at his wiki. On May 23rd, 2020, Wallen was arrested for disorderly conduct after being ejected from Kid Rock Steakhouse. On October 3rd, 2020, a TikTok video was released showing Wallen socializing unmasked, kissing women, and not observing social distancing guidelines. Now, as a result of that, he was uninvited to appear as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live. But then later, of course, SNL had him on the show and like they made jokes about it.
You're in big trouble, man. You're gonna get kicked off Saturday Night Live.
Like basically their way of saying it's okay, celebrity, you're famous, so you can do no wrong. Okay, here's some more. In February 2021, TMZ released a video of Warren that was recorded outside his Nashville home in which he used a racial slur. I like how they sugarcoat that. It was really cute. He shouted the N-word.
Jersey, take care of this pussy ass.
Like he shouted it out his window
Pussy ass.
at somebody across the street.
Jersey, take care of this pussy ass.
Cool. Got it. And my favorite part, how does society repay him for his stellar example of what garbage behavior looks like? Morgan Wallen's music sales are still soaring 6 weeks after he was canceled. Wallen's historic chart reign continued this week as Dangerous, the double album, spent its 9th consecutive week at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart, the first country album in history to do so. So moral of the story, folks, shout the N-word and be rewarded. Who needs consequences for their racism when you could just break country music records and take in all the money? I mean, I'm just saying, like, that sounds like a really nice thing. Let me go do that next week. Class dismissed. That's gonna be my new catchphrase, y'all. Petty University 2021. Class dismissed. Here's a fun one.
Hi, I'm Chris Harrison.
Chris, where do I even begin? This season of The Bachelor had the first ever black Bachelor. And one of the contestants, Rachel Kirkconnell, who wound up being like the last final contestant, some photos surfaced and it turns out she had attended a frat party that was an antebellum themed Old South party in 2018. So just a couple of years ago. Now, just for clarity, of course, antebellum basically means before the war, specifically usually referencing the American Civil War. You know, the whole war that like ended slavery and freed black slaves. That war. So basically she attended a party that was celebrating life before black people were free from slavery. Got it. So Chris Harrison decides it would be a great idea to go on Extra and be interviewed by Rachel Lindsay, who was the first black bachelorette. By the way, it should not escape you that The Bachelor has had 25 seasons. And this is the first time they've had a black bachelor. I'm just saying, but instead of like either listening to Rachel Lindsay, who would have like actual insightful information and a take on like why this is problematic, he instead defends Kirkconnell's actions. Like he first immediately dismisses it and he says,
you know, I saw a picture of her at a sorority party 5 years ago.
2018 was not 5 years ago. Basic math, Christopher.
And that's it, like boom.
And doesn't say what the photo was, doesn't say the context of it. It's like, oh, I saw she took a photo. You mean she took a photo at a frat party that was an antebellum themed Old South racist party. Context matters, bitch. Remember that. So Rachel kind of like interjects.
The picture was from 2018 at an Old South antebellum party.
And it's not a good look.
When you hold that under the lens.
It's not a good look.
Well,
to which he replies, well,
it's not a good, well, Rachel, is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021?
It's
because
not
there's
a good
difference.
Look ever.
I don't know in what like privileged, sanctioned life that you have designed for yourself, but 2018 racism or microaggressive behavior or antebellum parties was not okay then either. When people continually spout off that as like their defense thing, where they're like, well, but it was a different time then. Racism was different then. It's just, I'm gonna say the same thing I always say. Different to who? Different for you, maybe, person living in privilege who seems to be incredibly daft to the realities here that everyone else faces, but it's literally been the same thing for us since like the dawn of time. Here's something I guess a friend like is quoted as saying, Chris has had a spotless record for 20 years. You know what, I feel like this statement needs to be edited a little bit. I feel like we need to make this a little more accurate, so let me give it a shot. Chris has had a spotless record for 20 years. Until he said racially insensitive things. He has always been the good company man until he said racially insensitive things, but after the way he's been treated by producers and executives over the past couple of weeks, because he said racially insensitive things, he's run out of cheeks to turn because he used them up saying racially insensitive things. I need you to just make it make sense, people. Class dismissed. Now, of course, there is the issue of race, which is often, like, not always, but it's often a factor in the response of what happens to a celebrity or an influencer who does something problematic. And I think this also applies often to women and the LGBTQ+ community. The reality is, just like in life, like non-white, black, and brown influencers often have a higher bar that's set for them that they have to reach in order to be like accepted. They have to be like over exceptional as people at their craft. And then the same is true in the opposite, where if a black or brown person makes a mistake or does something offensive or actually illegal, the repercussions of their actions are often far more severe. I mean, do I really need to point out Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, Nipplegate? Y'all remember? We saw the actual canceling of a talented black woman over the actions of what a white guy did. I think they were both part of the stunt, but Janet gets blamed for like everything and like called every racist, misogynistic word in the book, like basically banned from TV and performing and like literally excommunicated from the United States. And you know what Justin Timberlake gets? A headlining solo performance of his own at another Super Bowl. Make it make sense. If y'all don't see the misogyny and outright silencing of a woman, of a black woman in this scenario, then I don't know what to tell you, boo. Like, sign up for some classes. Like, remember when I put out a video sharing my own personal experience of racism and bigotry from a white influencer? I didn't get attacked for the receipts per se, because like proof is proof. No, I got massively attacked by some for having the audacity to speak up about casual and intentional racism and bigotry in general, because to them it wasn't acceptable for me to talk about these issues or ask for accountability. Like, oh, you're just sensitive, everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes are like accidentally dropping the F-bomb in class, accidentally sending a sext to your dad that was intended for your secret lover. Those are mistakes. Casual racism, not a mistake. It's important to talk about it if we're going to change. All right, moving on. Okay, now let's talk about the influencer. I
put myself in a lot of situations where I've needed to apologize for my past actions, and I've never done this correctly.
So you're probably thinking of like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, Trisha Paytas, Tana Mongeau, Nikita Dragun, Tana Mongeau, James Charles, Tana Mongeau, Amanda Ensing, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, like every TikTok content house, or the famous TikTokers who just can't seem to keep the N-word out of their mouth.
Died. And I prefer to be this color than yours.
There's Snickers all over the place.
Remember them?
I apologize for the words that I've said in the past.
There's a reason we generally think of the same few names when saying the words problematic. And that's because like either they do yet another thing that's problematic, or alternatively because people just like love to talk about them regardless of what they have or haven't done, which basically means I'm also contributing to it simply by making this video. Love that for me. I will talk about the TikTok stars with literally hundreds of millions of followers who held many huge actually law-breaking COVID house parties during the pandemic while people are dying.
It is the night before Larray, my best friend's birthday. So this year I've decided to throw him a crazy surprise party.
Now, honestly, like D'Angelo Wallace and Smokey Glow did some great in-depth videos just on this topic, which I recommend watching. But seeing so many selfish, callous, weak, inconsiderate, narcissistic, arrogant celebrities and influencers throwing these parties and posting it all over social media, like literally telling you they don't care about the pandemic or then basically like the lives of those lost or at serious risk.
We don't fucking care. Sorry.
Seeing them trending and get more clout and more stands is disgusting. What you did is disgusting. Moving on to those influencers who like complain about being called out for COVID parties, like, well, I didn't ask to be a role model. No, you didn't. That would likely require some type of empathy or like forethought into the actual factual responsibilities that come with this job. Instead, you asked for the fame, the clout, the views, the followers, and the flex. But like, if you want the fame and the money, you're gonna have to suck it up and deal with the whole influencing a bunch of people thing. Shitty having to be a good person, I know.
The difference between the internet persona and the real life persona, I don't like that. I've always said that David Dobrik's like not a good person. He just— Oh, you're going all the way. He's definitely a clout chaser for sure. There it is. There, spill the bean.
Maybe part of this is our own fault. When we use the word influencer, we stupidly thought that inherently meant positive influence. Like in reality, influence is just influence and can take many forms. Like there's positive influence and there's also destructive influence that doesn't give one shit about helping anyone but themselves.
We don't fucking care.
And so like, I don't know, like maybe in some like alt universe, if we shifted the entire perception of influencer and like just expected the absolute worst in people, and like trust me, they will not disappoint. Like maybe the good ones would stand out more as like abnormal behavior and then get more press and attention. Like reverse psychology, that bitch. Except I don't actually see that ever working. So I think instead of like normalizing problematic behavior with praise and trending tabs, sponsorships, and MTV shows because controversy sells, like maybe let's normalize excommunicating terrible influential behavior from our lives instead. I don't know. I mean, I do know one thing. For all those people holding those COVID parties, they legit better be the last in line for the vaccine, like voluntarily last in line, since they had no problem shitting on the pandemic with their parties. I'm just saying. How many instances of ongoing, seriously problematic behavior can influencers get away with? Like, how long will they be the ones at the top? Like, I'm honestly asking that. Like, how many instances is okay and like is cool? And then like, what's that next number that like crosses the line? Like, is it 100? Is it 1,000? Because they're influencing not only tens of millions of impressionable children, but influencing the CEOs and heads of these platforms that we all live our lives on, and that's a problem. When people who have like this repeated ongoing problematic behavior also have the ear of the people in charge of these platforms, is that mindset permeating into these heads and the CEOs of these platforms? Therefore, then that would directly and indirectly affect someone like me. So we've all heard of the studies that suggest that many of the most like successful like CEOs in the world may have psychopathic tendencies, right? Like upwards of like 20% of them actually. Yeet. The same has been said about narcissistic tendencies, but we often see a lot of comparisons made between successful, larger-than-life celebrities and traits of narcissism. How exactly is like narcissism in general defined? Well, I'm glad you asked. Definition 1. Narcissism is the pursuit of gratification from vanity or egotistic admiration of one's idealized self-image and attributes. The kind of definition is like, who wrote, like, what is this mess? So like, okay, the term originated from Greek mythology where like a young man named Narcissus fell in love with his own image reflected in a pool of water. It literally sounds like the description for like 70% of people on Instagram.
I see you, girl. Look at you, we're looking right at each other. Hey.
I'm back. Let's continue. So symptoms include an excessive need for admiration, a disregard for others' feelings, an inability to handle any criticism, and a sense of entitlement. Gee, I can't think of anyone who that might apply to. It's almost like the bigger, the richer the flex, the more people love those creators. We adore them. It's kind of like the Kardashian complex, we'll call it. Now, in my extremely limited, don't quote me research about narcissistic tendencies, in order for a person to be diagnosed, they'd have to check off at least 5 of the following 9 boxes. So, let's play a fake game. Let's rate our own narcissism. That sounds like fun. All right, so everyone count how many of these you do or don't check off, and then like leave it in the comments what your score is, or like don't. You totally don't have to. So the first one is a grandiose sense of self-importance. Number 2, preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Next is a belief that you are special and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people. Requires excessive admiration, has a sense of entitlement, takes advantage of others, lacks empathy, envies others or believes others are envious of him or her. And the last one shows arrogant behaviors and attitudes. So how many did you check off? Do you think an influencer you follow checks off some of these boxes? And if y'all put my name in the comments, bitch, I'm watching. I'm just kidding. Now, of course, if you want to get real meta about it, which, like, f it, let's go. If ego and flex bring in the views, do you think it's possible some of these influencers are just playing a role and aren't really narcissistic? Like, is it in fact possible to play the role of someone hyper-focused on like self-importance and clout and power while the cameras are on, but like are actually super nice?
The difference between the internet persona and the real life persona?
Yeah, that's probably a stretch. And now for those I affectionately call the accidental influencers.
If I wanted to be black, you would hear me talking about I'm black. I would be saying the N-word. I would be doing that black people do.
These are the people who, like, as far as I could tell, were not intending to become influencers or celebrities, but they did something that was like so astronomically like funny or important or cringe that the entire internet memed them into stardom, for better or for worse. And the first accidental influencer that pops to mind is none other than Danielle Brigoli, aka Bhad Baby. Yes, kids, that's right. Miss Blackfishing Baby herself.
Who wants to be black? I don't understand that. I really just can't comprehend it. I look at that cultural appropriation, I just ignore it because it's ridiculous. It really is. Do not tell me I'm acting black because I'm not.
Now for those who aren't aware, let's get technical here. Blackfishing is defined as a trend commonly perpetrated by white women who use tanning and makeup, etc. to appear to have some type of black African ancestry. It's like cultural appropriation's younger sister. We'll see instances of non-black people wearing like traditional black hairstyles, cosmetically altering their bodies and skin, things that Bhad Baby has been accused of doing time and time again. But
if I wanted to be black, you would hear me talking about I'm black. I would be saying the N-word. Nigga ain't fuck me like that. I want a nigga to sneak me. The pussy nigga sneak me gon' bless. Don't call me a
people keep watching, and she keeps deflecting the accusations with responses like, oh, there are worse things happening in the world. Have y'all noticed that like that seems to be influencers like go-to escape clause? But there are bigger issues in the world. No shit, but we can still talk about these issues too. It's like they're playing Monopoly and they scored like the get out of accountability free card. Feel free to pass go and collect your clout. Anyway, sorry, but you know, like strangely enough, you know who else got called out for blackfishing? Rita Ora, in fact, is actually white. Yes, Rita, honey. Like Rita Ora came out the gate wearing box braids and cornrows and like laid edges, afros, and like fashion, all directly to lead her fans to assume she was likely black or biracial.
I thought you had some black in you when I heard that you loved Tabasco sauce. Yeah, no, I might as well be. No, a lot of people think that, but you know,
Because
I like that.
it's
It gets me places.
Now let's talk about how you did end up.
Take from a culture, appropriate a culture, and profit from said culture. And so like this is like hence why we have instances of the most famous influencers in the world, like TikTok stars Charli D'Amelio and Addison Rae, like making bank while often, not always, but often using dances that were created by smaller black influencers without giving credit. Like, let's be honest. Or like the Bhad Baby, Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, Nikita Dragun types who seem to like dabble in blackfishing when the press is slow. Yes, this morning SWOOP woke up and chose violence. Right, so what makes so many influencers appear to be so very special? The bottom line is because you love it. You love the flex, you love to hate it, you love that they're assholes, and you love the vanity. And you know what, speaking of, are y'all following me on Instagram and Twitter? Because like you really should be. I mean, it's like peeking into the sun. See what I did there? Was that vanity? Was that narcissism? No, but seriously, please follow me. So like I'm gonna post this photo on there, so go comment on it with like the chicken face emoji. Yes, chicken face. I don't know why, but here we are. So I've been saying for a long time that for most of us who live part of our lives on social media, there's this thing I like to call social currency. Like imagine you're going about your life working a job or going to school and you earn some money along the way. Like that money in turn pays for the things you need to live your life, right? Like in the world of an influencer, that cash comes first and foremost in the form of social currency. A social media influencer's net worth is like all about the views numbers, like not just to brands, but also to viewers. Viewers also get sucked into placing value on influencers based on numbers. That's the true worth of an influencer now, and it has been that way for quite a while. And a brand, and sometimes the viewer, will judge like the worthiness of an influencer, not on the quality and worthiness of the content, but solely on how many views they rack up, whether it's like real, fake, or otherwise. And like it's not a problem per se, as this has created revenue for people to be able to make a living creating, which is great. But it also has set up a dangerous precedent where people do like increasingly irresponsible or shocking, abusive, slimy things to get more views to make more money. And like if some of the most problematic celebrities are at the top, raking in all the views and the press while damaging communities and like setting humanity back like a grillion years, like then what? What do we do? But like, here's the thing, Steve. There's another side to this, and here it goes. So like, did we ask for this? When we see that like not all, but so many celebrities and influencers are being like so problematic, is that what makes them so popular? These celebrities, these influencers, views, brand endorsements, merch, tours, are literally only famous because we keep tuning in like this hate to love, love to hate, secretly love what we say we hate society. Do we actually enjoy that they're sitting on top while abusing their influence? Did we do this to ourselves? Because literally everything is burning around us, and I want to know who to blame. When thinking about this, like all with the way the masses, the audiences seem to move, they want people to change and do better with their influence, but they don't, because then there's like nothing to talk about. Then there's no tea to spill. If people call out someone's behavior as trash, but the same people continue to consume whatever it is that person is doing, then what is the point? Some of these celebrities seem to have a bachelor's degree in notepad apologies, right? You know what? Oh my gosh, that would totally be like a class at Petty University. Taught by Professor Deflection, you will learn the subtle art of crafting a generic apology that doesn't address the issue, takes no accountability, and deflects blame onto being in a dark place. I am such an idiot. You'll also master techniques such as how to post it on your smallest platforms, what new influencers to become friends with to boost your credibility scores, and how long to wait before returning from your apology tour so that you can reach your dreams of stardom, most likely without substance. I'm being stupid, I'm sorry. All right, so again, make sure to click the link in the description to find out how to get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. Enjoy all of your new movies and shows to binge. There are gonna be so many, I'm so excited for you. And let me know in the comments if you'd follow me on Twitch if I start streaming there. Really thinking about it. And like, I'll leave it at like this thought. Like, maybe instead of standing problematic behavior or giving it massive platforms to succeed on, we could just like not do that? Does a person become an influencer because they have some elements of narcissism, or does becoming an influencer create a sense of narcissism in a person over time? Or like, better yet, I'll put it like this, like, which came first, the influencer or the asshole? Can a person be an influencer without any narcissism? In other words, are our behaviors a product of our choices, or are we simply a product of our product?